Hi guys, so today I wanted to talk to you all about Brigitte Bardot and where she would fall into the body geometry, body typing system. If you guys are completely new here and you have no idea what I'm talking about and what body geometry is a body typing system based on your bone structure, because it's the bone structure that determines how the flesh lays on the body and ultimately how the fabric will fall on the body. So that's why when you see two celebrities that both have an hourglass shape, one of them, when they dress for their hourglass shape, might look a little bit strange, and the other one looks perfectly great dressing for their hourglass shape. So if you've always wondered why things might not look the way that they do on you or something like that, check out the video that I will leave a link to down below about the bone structure test, and you are going to be on your way to finally understanding your best lines. And as you guys know, I am offering body geometry consults through my website, and I will leave a link to those down below as well so that you can learn more about them. Okay, so let's get into talking about Brigitte Bardot. So if you know anything about body typing, if you are not new here, if you're old here, you know that Brigitte Bardot is, kind of potentially or reportedly or allegedly has been sort of said to be a soft gamine by David Kibbe, but he said she's only potentially a soft gamine. Now, I agree within the body typing system that was outlined in Metamorphosis with the 13 types, I would say she is a soft gamine. So she looks good primarily in an animated look with some short and fitted lines. But I do want to talk about Brigitte Bardot specifically because this is another situation where we might want a more personalized approach to body typing than having the 13 categories. Let's take a look at Brigitte Bardot a little bit. So you can see that she has a pretty angular jawline, so that is answer B. She has pretty wide cheekbones, answer B, and her nose is pretty small and soft, so it's either answer D or E on the bone structure test. And now if we take a look at her body type overall, we can see that her vertical line is pretty short, so she looks pretty short because her head is pretty large, so it makes her body look smaller in proportion. Her shoulders have a bit of a slope to them, so they are answer E or D, and her arms and legs though are pretty long with a wider bone, and her hands and feet also look like they're a little bit to the larger side. They don't look so small like, let's say, Drew Barrymore's hands and feet do. So you can see that Brigitte Bardot has primarily a mixed bone structure to her, and this mixed bone structure means that she looks really good with some fitted lines, with some shorter lines, because her bone structure is a mixture. So what does it even mean to have a mixed bone structure? A mixture of what? It's a mixture of angular and long versus rounded and soft. So those are the two mixtures that are juxtaposing each other in Brigitte's bone structure. And because we have that mixture, as the eye travels down and looks at Brigitte Bardot from head to toe, the eye sees rounded, angular, short, long, just a juxtaposition. So we want to be able to define that. So we need some fittedness and we need some shorter lines to define that. So a little interjection from editing Merriam here. So if you are completely new here, I'm going to quickly explain what the bone structure test is all about. So you can see that the A and B answers on the bone structure test are associated with long and angular, the D and E are associated with rounded and short, and the C answers are associated with neither of those, so neither long or angular or short or rounded. So when we take a look at Brigitte and we try to understand her bone structure, we can see that she has a mixture of opposites in her bone structure. So she has some answer B's and she also has some D's and E's. So she has a mixed bone structure. On the other hand, she has a lot of answer B's, and answer B's are associated with the bevel type or the natural type. And the reason why we are considering and we are in between soft natural versus soft gamine in this video for Brigitte is because soft natural has primarily answer B bones and they have soft flesh and facial features, and soft gamine has mixed bone structure and soft flesh and facial features. So soft natural and soft gamine, the soft in those terms denotes the softness of the facial features and the figure. And the real difference between soft natural and soft gamine is in the bone structure. So that's why we're focusing on Brigitte's bone structure. And the question we're asking is, does Brigitte have enough answer B's to basically be a bevel type or a natural type with some softness, so a soft natural, or is she primarily a mixed type? So I would say that she is primarily a mixed type, a gamine, and because she has the soft figure and facial features, she is a soft gamine. But at the same time, we also see a lot of answer Bs, so that does raise the question of soft natural. If you're old here, it might be interesting for you to think about this. So I've come across this with some of my clients, and it's that sometimes the answers A and B are quite angular or quite long and very pronounced, and the D and E features are not as rounded and short as the A and B features are long and angular. So there is a certain degree for each of the answers when you're going through the bone structure test. For example, you can see that even though Brigitte has a mixed bone structure according to the bone structure test, her D and E answers are not as pronounced as her B answers are. So, for example, her nose is answer D, and in some more images, you can see that it's really quite small and soft, and I would still call it primarily an answer D or E nose, but at the same time, it's not as soft as Marilyn Monroe's, and it's not as small and pointy as, let's say, Jenna Coleman's. So there is that aspect that her nose is not, let's say, as short and small and rounded as her cheekbones and jawline are angular and beveled. So there is that aspect, and the same goes for her skeletal bone structure as well. You can see that, yeah, she does definitely look short, and even at that low angle, she looks pretty short, the low camera angle. At the same time, she doesn't look as short as Jenna Coleman, but on the other hand, her arms and legs do look quite long and have a wider bone to them. So her answer Bs are more B than her answer Ds and Es are D and E, if that makes sense. So that's something to keep in mind. And I've always said, and I'm still saying, the lines are always the real test. And the whole thing with this video is to really understand the best lines for Brigitte's body. And the question we're asking is, are these answer Bs enough to make her a soft natural or a bevel type? And the answer that I'm hoping I'm giving in this video is they are not enough to make her a completely soft natural or complete bevel type, but they are enough to sort of add some elements of the bevel type into her primarily mixed look, or to incorporate some elements of the bevel type and some elements of the mixed type, some elements of soft natural, some elements of soft gamine. So you can see that because Brigitte is in between soft gamine and soft natural, we also can find some looks of her in both lines that are primarily soft natural, like on the left, and primarily soft gamine, like on the right. So the right, yes, she has the tousled hair, but she also has a ton of soft gamine elements. She has the collar blocking, she has the animated pattern, she has the sharp waist emphasis, the high neckline, the fittedness, the skirt has a very stiff and rounded shape to it. So all of that is primarily soft gamine, and the tousled hair doesn't really make it like a 50-50 mix or anything like that. So I would say on the right is primarily a soft gamine look, on the left is a primarily soft natural look, and you can see she looks really quite nice in both. And this is sort of the flexibility that she has being in between two types. But what we are really talking about are the most iconic looks of Brigitte Bardot that I'm going to be getting into, and talking about sometimes how the primarily soft gamine looks don't always work like they do on the right, and the primarily soft natural looks don't always work like they do on the left, although you can find some where she looks quite good in each of the lines because she is in the middle. Still, her most iconic looks are the ones that I'm going to discuss in this video and sort of break down the lines that are associated with those looks and why they work so well for her. In primarily mixed lines, like pure mixed lines with short lines and everything like that, it can look a little bit stiff on her, or those lines can look a teeny tiny bit small on her. Those, as we would call them, soft gamine lines or gamine lines, can be a little tiny bit short on her. I would still, if I had to choose, I would choose primarily gamine lines for her or primarily mixed lines for her, but at the same time I think they are a little bit short on her. On the other hand, if we look at her in primarily beveled type lines or natural lines, something's also not quite right. I feel like it's just kind of miserable to see her in those lines. She kind of looks a little bit dragged down, maybe just a little bit plain in those lines. And what we really want is to realize that really, Brigitte needs a more personalized approach. She has somewhere in between for her bone structure. I'm going to show you guys sort of how this ends up working in practice. So what does it mean to be sort of in between two types? So Brigitte is in between mixed and beveled. So she needs a little bit of elements of each in her outfit to really feel like she's wearing her own skin. So let's take a look at this image. So I really love this look on her. I feel like it is to die for. It's perfect. Notice that she has very much a fitted look. So that's very much a mixed feature, is to have a fitted look. And at the same time, she has pretty short lines, so her pants are cropped and they are tapered as well, so they're quite fitted. And she also has waist emphasis to work with her figure. And at the same time, though, she also has some elements of beveled there. She has the open neckline, so that kind of plays into her in-betweenness of her type. And that's the kind of personalization that I'm hoping, to bring to you guys with body geometry. If you find that you are primarily one type, but you need to make some alterations, a little bit of alterations for your own personal body, for your own personal bone structure, then you can do that, and sort of which lines go with which body type, and you can mix. So what happens with Brigitte is that she can mix different elements. I would say she would be like mostly mixed, but she would want to include just a few elements of beveled, right? So another example here, I love this. I love the high neckline on her, but at the same time, she's also balancing that higher neckline, which is a mixed type line, with her tousled hair, which is more for the bevel type, and the oversized, loose sort of bows in her hair, which are also a beveled type accessory. So that just looks perfect on her, because here she has the higher neckline, she has, the emphasis on her eyes, which looks really good on her, and overall, she is really dressing for her own bone structure, for her own unique look. And last but not least, one of my favorite images of Brigitte Bardot, absolutely to die for. I love this image of her. So you can see that she has that tousled hair that is associated with the bevel type, and now it's mixed in with a lot of mixed lines. So she has the higher neckline, she has the very sharp shoulder definition of the mixed type, and she has the fittedness at the cuffs of the mixed type. So this is primarily a mixed look, and if a mixed type were to wear this, like Jenna Coleman, then she would also look amazing in something like this. And Jenna Coleman often wears these kinds of high necklines, these very fitted types of silhouettes, and that looks amazing on the mixed type. But now what Brigitte Bardot has added to honor her a little bit of a leaning to the bevel type, she has added the tousled hair that's longer, creating some longer lines and some bigger beveled angles to her overall look. Notice that the bow that is on her neckline is a bit larger. The larger shapes are also a beveled category. So you can see how she has that mixture of even the mixed type lines and a touch of the beveled line. I think that's so perfect for her, and I think she looks just perfect here. I love it. So now let's recap, okay? So when she does pure beveled lines, you can see that kind of drags her down a little bit. When she does pure mixed lines, it looks a little bit awkward on her. And you can see that the pure mixed lines look a little bit harsh on her. The high neckline at the same time with the small little bow, at the same time with the fittedness, at the same time with the fittedness at the shoulders and the cuffs and everything. It's a little bit too many mixed elements in her look, and it looks a little bit too small on her, too tight on her. And then when we combine those two together, we get this, which is just perfect for her. We have the tousled hair. She swapped that smaller bow for a larger bow to bring in some of those bevel type recommendations. So those are really her unique and best lines. Another quick interjection here. So here is an honorable mention for another mixed plus beveled in one look. So you can see that for the mixed elements, she has the short jacket with contrasting buttons, the color blocking with the socks at the knee, and the contrasting bow. And for the beveled elements, she has the tousled longer hair, and she has the oversized and loose bow in her hair, and she also has the jacket that is slightly oversized and not so fitted. So I think this looks just right on Brigitte, and she looks just right at home in this outfit. All right, let's get back to the outro part of the video, I guess. Okay, you guys, so that is all I have to say for this video. I hope you check out the bone structure test video that I will leave a link to down below. Of course, leave some comments, leave some questions. I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys next time. Okay, bye. If you are still here, then you might also be interested in my video on Cate Blanchett on Merriam Style Club. So you guys know that Cate Blanchett has been typed as ethereal, she has been typed as dramatic by David Kibbe, and I have my own thoughts on Kate's most native lines when it comes to her body geometry type. So if you guys are interested in that video along with other exclusive content, then I will leave a link down below to Merriam Style Club on how you can join. I hope you guys really enjoyed this Brigitte Bardot video. I really love making these kinds of in-depth videos about interesting body typology cases. So if you have any ideas on some more celebrities that are very interesting body typology cases, then leave those comments down below as well. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So yeah, I will talk to you guys next time. Okay, bye.